we've got Rex that was unable to attend today, and we've got Steve Kuhn on phone. And so we're gonna go ahead and proceed with Steve and I as a quorum, and we will get started with that. So, as far as the minutes from the last meeting, Steve, did you have any comments or questions on the minutes from last meeting?
No.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, you accept them.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes from, was that 12/21?
It was, yeah.
12/21, and I will second that, so motion carries.
So this stand, I'll just have you sign yours and then
All right,
we can sign Steve as approving remotely. And Rex, I don't know what to do with that, but we'll ask Julie Marie later.
okay, next thing on the agenda, we've got the auditor's report. So we'll let Tony go ahead with that.
Well, the first thing that you had was the clerk's monthly report, for the month ending in November, which I gave to you, Stan.
Okay,
Pretty standard, what he does every month.
Steve, did Steve get a copy of any of this,
Did
Tony?
you scan this guy?
I did not.
What did you scan to him besides just utilities?
Yeah. Do you want me to scan that?
We can come back to that and scan this to you real quick. It's just the normal clerk's monthly report, but we'll have Bree scan it to you.
He's got total charges of $387,661.10, and that balances out. Balance in all depositories balances out. So we're good there, but we'll get it
Try not to
scanned in.
breathe.
All right,
We better hustle through this, Stan.
okay. All right, next, Tony.
Okay, and remind me, we have to go back to that to get the motion and everything once he gets that scan, unless he's good with it prior to getting it.
Do you want to wait till you look at a copy, or are you okay with?
If you say it's good, Stan, let's make the motion and go.
Okay,
Okay, I'll second that. Motion carries to approve the clerk's monthly report as of November 30th, 2021.
okay. I also have one other thing from the clerk's office that Stan already signed, and it is the software license agreement for $4,000 for CSI computer systems. I'm pretty sure this is an annual thing. If you want to look at that, Stan, you've already signed that, and we can sign Steve and say, approved remotely. And I think that's one he had to have by the end of the year, so.
Yeah, this is a license that,
It's whatever they do with CSI.
yeah, software license.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. From what I've seen, it's appropriate. Julie Marie or Mark is not here to approve it, but it's a total licensed software modules for $4,000. So if you want to wait until Julie Marie gets here, we can do that, or we can go ahead and approve it.
It doesn't need to have a lawyer look at it.
They already have, I believe. I think Jim also had a copy that they also had a copy from Jim. So,
Yeah, as far,
Make the motion.
okay, motion to approve.
I'm not so sure they didn't write this.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have the Allied Weekly Insurance claims. And those claims are in the amount of $108,365.82. $108,365.82. Stan and I were discussing this earlier, and we think it's a little higher than normal, probably because everybody's trying to get everything in by the end of the year. And that included a stop-loss reimbursement of a little over $70,000 as well. So it's already signed. So.
And how's that look to you?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate for an end of the year claim, so. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's a motion, I'll second it, so to approve of
Okay.
medical claims.
And the only other thing I have is utilities that are paid in Lao, which I think Bree did send you. She scanned it and sent it. And the amount is pretty normal. It's $33,509.62, $33,509.62 for the utilities that are paid in Lao, and they paid on 12/23.
Okay, you need a motion on that?
Yep.
All right, so move, I'll second, motion carries on the utilities claim.
Okey doke.
All right,
Who's up next?
so you got, is that everything you got?
That's
Tony?
everything I've got.
Okay, county engineer, county highway
Bless you.
department, so,
Morning, gentlemen.
morning.
Not much to report today. It's like everyone
probably
else.
good.
They're off on, most of the guys are off on vacation. The guys that I do have are out grading and trying to, this will definitely be the last grading for the year,
Okay.
but we'll see what winter brings. That's it.
All right, well, they're calling for snow this afternoon, so hopefully it's light and,
Sounds like it's only gonna stick to the grass, so. we'll
yeah,
see.
melts fast, so.
Yep.
It's fine with me.
All right,
That's all I have.
well, very good.
Thank you.
So appreciate you coming in and, so.
Have a
we'll
great
go
day.
from there.
Thank you.
Steve, any questions for Paul from the highway department?
No.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, building maintenance.
Kind of the same thing, you don't have much.
You're welcome, if you wanna come up here so Steve can hear you too, I don't know. I'll put that up there.
Very good, because Steve's not feeling the best, you can tell.
Yeah. So,
Alls I have is, the coil that I mentioned a couple meetings ago over at the courthouse, it's fixed now.
good.
So hopefully
Okay.
that heating's all done, and that's really what went on last Wednesday, so other than that, we've been off, so I don't really
Okay.
have much.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, we got that meeting on January 5th with
Yeah,
the,
now that'll be Wednesday at 10
yeah,
over at Mark's.
yep, so,
Okay,
okay. Well, very good, thanks for keeping things running and.
take care, Steve.
Yep, thanks, Rick.
So you're gonna continue to move ahead with the door locks then, and,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, that's all done, it's just a matter of when they can get it and get in here, as Bob was saying.
There's only
Okay.
one commissioner here today. The other
and the
two are
cameras,
sick.
Yeah, and the cameras too.
yeah,
Can
okay.
Just getting all that material in here.
Get hold of Mark.
And that is like
See if he's out there, tell him. we're gonna
part
do
one,
everything
part
early.
two phase that I'd like to
Okay.
do.
One
And then
commissioner.
my part three phase would
If you
have
have
been
the
the,
number.
panic button system
I don't think I have it
Oh,
down here.
okay.
later on. Then everything would be all new as far as security.
Fantastic.
I mean, we can put Shannon and Julie. Marie
Okay,
before
any
him
questions for Rick? Steve?
If she gets here.
Have a happy new year.
You too.
Okay,
He's trying to get a hold of Mark because Mark's up next, but he's not here yet. And he wasn't scheduled till 10:30, so if you want to do Shannon, and then we'll see if Julie Marie gets here.
okay. Shannon, are you ready to come up? Okay.
I don't really have a lot either.
Hopefully Julie Marie gets here before then.
Yeah, same thing if you wanna.
Hi,
All right.
Steve. Hey, so I got an email last week from Sandy Brown in Circuit Court, and we have an employee who is the court security officer over there, and he is going to be on FMLA for the next couple weeks. So they don't have a court security officer in Circuit Court. So she's asking if there's any way that we can do, bring back our old court security officer for a couple of days until the new gentleman gets started. The issue is that there's no money, there's no budget for it. The budget was cut last year, so there's no line item or anything. So I don't know if there's anything that we can do, or if the answer's just, sorry, we can't do anything.
Well, I think court security is pretty important. If we have to do an appropriation to cover for that leave, I mean, that would, to me, would be a priority.
Okay.
I'm guessing that would end up going before council if it's an additional, so those have to explain it at the time, probably.
So do I say that, yes, it's okay that we do it and we have that old court security officer come back and then we just do the additional?
Well, it's a sticky wicket because there's not a council meeting until the second Tuesday in January and they can't approve it until then.
But I mean, by
That might be a question for Julie Marie.
by then,
We've been saving up all the questions for you.
Bree, as far as, I mean, there's no money to encumber.
The
Okay,
court security officer is on FMLA for 2 weeks, and they want to bring back the former one to take his place, but there's no money budgeted to pay the former one to come back.
So the question is, what do we do if we can do anything? Are we able to just bring them back and go to council and say, hey, look, this wasn't an option? And
I mean, we're starting a new year, so there's money there. They would have to worry about it towards the end of the year if they run out. Is the one that's gonna be off, is he
So-
being paid?
so even
So they'll
though,
be fine. If he's not being paid,
Oh,
it'll end up being a wash in the end.
so we can pull it out of their salary line item for the part-time person?
And then it would never, I don't know that if that's the case, it wouldn't have to go before council unless at the end of the year
Yeah,
it
it
runs
doesn't have to
short.
go before counts.
Right, unless it runs short, if there's already money in there
I
now.
have to look and see how it is on the salary ordinance.
Okay.
You wanna look on my computer?
are they going to be, actual working this year? Or will they not start working until next year?
I'm assuming that they'd be looking for the person to start working like tomorrow.
Oh, your folder?
So would that
Are they gonna
complicate?
work 80 out, like, are they gonna work a full-time schedule or are they gonna work part-time? And are we paying them part-time schedule, or part-time rate?
I would be willing to bet that it's gonna be full-time until the new guy starts, which the new guy is supposed to be starting today, but isn't gonna be trained. So it's gonna be like a 2-week thing, I would think, but probably full-time for 2 weeks.
I know that we can write for him.
I would think so, because he's not exercising a vote. So,
But 2 will be enough. anyway.
2 is enough.
See, that's the only thing is there's no wage. There is no wage for court security.
Right.
Not part.
So I guess my question is, however it's figured, if we're able to figure it and make it work, would you guys be okay with that? Stan and Steve?
I think I would be okay with that in order to keep our security officer over there. What do you think, Steve?
I'm trying to follow you, but it's kind of breaking up a little bit, so.
Well, they've got one of the court security officers is on FMLA leave, and so they would like to,
What are we gonna do for the fix?
yeah, bring back one of the guys who is retired to fill in temporarily.
Is he willing to do that?
I haven't reached out to him, I just got this
Just tell him
email late
whatever you
last
see in
week,
front of
so.
you that needs to be
Part
told
of
to
the
you.
issue was a budget issue, as far as there's no money left in their 21 budget, so if we can, not pay them until out of the 22 budget.
I don't, the budget part's not the problem. I think the more of the problem is what we're gonna pay because it's not on the salary ordinance. Whereas court
Okay.
security, I mean, you could pay them what they're making.
Right. I think
We
that'd
have
really be
that
our
money
only
to
option.
stand.
Well, Bree said the budget is not necessarily the problem. The issue is what rate we're gonna pay them at. So if we were to pay them at the current, I mean, since they're out, if they were able to come in and do that, they would obviously need zero training. They would be able to just take over the job as they had in the past. So I would think as far as current rate,
I think
I
If
mean,
you guys approve that it's okay for this person to fill in for the 7 weeks or whatever you said, that's all you guys can do. And then we can talk with Sheriff Dan and
Figure
then
out the
we will
money.
figure it out. And then if we need to talk to council in January, we can go then get the wage figured out. But I think for now, we would have to tell the person they're gonna make what's on the salary ordinance of what this person that's out is making.
Right.
Because there's not a part-time, we only have special deputy patrol division and special deputy jail or admin, and that's not really either one, so our only option is court security at what their hourly rate is.
I guess I would be in favor of using a retired court security officer to fill in, while the other officer's on FMLA leave.
You need a motion on that, Stan?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
okay,
Thank you.
second motion carries, so,
That's all I have.
all right, oh my gosh, that's all she has, so. Okay. Mark Wynn is still not here yet. Ed, did you have anything for us today?
Real quick, just a couple little things. Good morning, Steve. I hope you get feeling better, buddy.
Thank you.
The financial planning meeting that we had scheduled got pushed back a week to Tuesday, January 25th, 9 a.m. Tony and I talked about that after your meeting
I
last
think
week.
I actually came back down and told them that,
Okay.
that day.
The other thing, and Julie Marie, good morning. I'm gonna need to ask you a question on this. 2 weeks ago, could be 3 weeks ago, I talked about a promissory note that we had to give for $250,000 for our workman's comp. This is from the First Bank of Bern, and it is just a thing that's their procedure. We'll never need it, we'll never use it. We have plenty of cash, but they want that on line. You guys approve that? The only thing is, I need signatures, and all of them have Rex Moore's sign underneath. He's the one to sign them. Can Stan sign them, an initial in his place? Can Tony? Can you?
Stan can, because as of today, right now, he is chairman pro tem, so he can do it on
So he would
behalf.
sign his name
He
and
can
then,
sign his name on behalf of, as acting commissioner's chairman.
if you guys are okay with that, I have several signatures I need.
Okay, so the promissory note is just something the bank's requiring just as security on their part.
It's actually the workman's comp insurance requires that we get it. We get it through First Bank of Bern.
Yeah.
That is for $250,000. Like I say, we have more than enough money. We'll never touch this. We'll never need it. But it's just their policy.
Okay. All right, does that make sense, Steve?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Okay, everywhere here, there's several of them here, but where the yellow line is. How does,
When I sign this, do I have to put,
Like acting chairman or
Yes,
just?
underneath it, right, acting chairman or chairman pro tem, just to indicate that it's you.
that sounds
That's
more official.
PRO and then TEMPORE,
Yes,
or is it? Is that right?
everybody just goes
All right.
PRO TEMP.
Do we need a motion on this?
you
I
already
would do it
approved
just
it.
to be
Okay.
safe.
You approved it 3 weeks ago, but that's, you're being,
Well, I put down here
that's fine.
that it was a motion to allow Stan to sign it as acting chairman is what I said. So if they make a motion to that, I think we're good since it was. Cool. So if we can get a motion and a second on that, we'll be official.
So moved.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
I'm channeling Mark.
Thank you, Steve.
Mark always says to get motions, make it matter for us. I've learned something over the past few years.
Different documents.
What do you bring besides the appointments? Is there something else that had to be done at the end of the year, June? Marie?
I'm sorry?
Was there something else that had to be done?
Yes.
Besides the appointments?
No, just the appointments. Yeah, these are just required to be
But it's
done.
not an ordinance.
These are all different
No, no,
documents
no.
too,
Okay.
Just your appointments,
All relating to the same.
but yes,
Yeah.
yes.
right.
Yeah, I think that's done. follow through these, make sure, but I think that's it, Stan.
All right.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Okay,
And Deb, I had Deb call Mark Wynn. You should get down here if he needs anything. And
Well, we can go ahead with Julie Marie, I suppose.
Julie Marie, you had the appointments that you wanted to present?
I do.
Okay,
We're prepared on those. We have several one-year appointments. We have Jackie Searles to the Drainage Board Secretary, Brad Yoder as Highway Superintendent, Paul Zerby as Adams County Assistant Highway Superintendent, Mark Burry as the Adams County Drainage Board Attorney, Mark Wynn as Building Inspector and Planning Commission Director, Mike Whirling as County Plat Book Technician, Mark Blankenship as Golden Meadows Home Administrator, Sandra Vogelweed as Soil and Water Director, Mike Brown as Information Technologies Director, Trey Likes as County Veteran Services Officer, John August as EMA Director and Advisory Board Member, Dan Hackman as Weights and Measures Inspector, Rick Burkholter as Grounds and Facilities Manager, Rex King as Property Tax Assessment Board Appeals Member, Max Beer as Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals Member, Kelly Morningstar, alternative as Wabash Heritage River Corridor Member, Randy Lehman as Wabash Heritage River Corridor Member, John P. Kins as Alcoholic Beverage Board Member, John August as District 3 Advisory Board Member, Bill Grimm as District 3 Advisory Board Member, Stan Stoppenhagen as Council on Aging Board Member, and Rex Moore as Title V Coordinator. And these are all for one-year appointments commencing January 1st, 2022.
I just had one question.
Yes.
At one point, the previous commissioners had appointed Sandy Vogelweed as a 6-month appointment. And I don't know if there's anything that has changed or should change, or should we go back to a 1-year appointment?
I think 1 year is the standard appointment.
Right.
You guys decided to deviate. I don't know what the discussion or
I
decision
think that was
was.
an SWCD board decision.
Because I think it was kind of, as I had discussions with the board, they were kind of a little bit in limbo on how to handle that, so. Steve, have you talked to anybody from the solid waste, or not solid waste, Soil and Water Conservation District as far as Paul Bloom or Randy Rowe at all?
No, I think they're both still interested.
Right, but I mean, at one time we had done previous commissioners had done a 6-month appointment for Sandy Vogelweed instead of a 1-year appointment. And I don't know the history on that exactly. So I suppose at this point, if you're okay with the 1 year, we'll go ahead and do it that way unless we've got any thoughts otherwise.
Can the board, Julie Marie, can the board supersede a commissioner's appointment should they decide to as a board?
If they decided to as a board, they would have to bring it back to the board, and back to the commissioners and ask for there
But
to
it
be a
can be done if
rescission of
necessary.
the contract and then a reappointment for a shorter period of time. So it can be reversed, but there would be a process.
They just have to come to you. If the board decides, hey, we only want the 6 months, then we just need to come to you guys to get approval for that.
Or would it be better if there's any question to do it as a 6 months, or is that stepping
If
into?
if you'd like to, if you prefer to do it as 6 months, you can. We can just make that
You would
change.
just have to do it
Correct.
again in 6 months.
Currently, her appointment for 2021, is that a 1 year, or have
That I don't know.
they gone back to a 1
I'm
year?
thinking that they had gone back to a 1 year, and that the 6-month thing was prior to that, because we were in council when that happened. And can't really get into personnel issues, but they had discussions as to whether or not to do the 6 months or a year, but I think we have since done a 1 year in between those times.
I believe that your next meeting is going to be the 4th, is that correct? Okay, so we'll have a couple of years into the new year. If her term expires, I don't know if there would be a particular harm in going 4 days to revisit
Yeah, I
the
don't
issue to decide if you
So
want
we
to do
could
6
hold
months
off
or
on
a
that
year.
one?
If you'd like to do that, because honestly, most appointments are done in January. We're just trying to clean things up and make it easy
So
for
you could
everybody.
approve all but hers,
Yes,
but then
you
you'd
can
have to talk to the
You can
SWCD
defer
board.
hers and then talk about that next week.
And I honestly don't, have any reason at this point, other than there had been a history, and I just want to make sure and follow up on that a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have the
Yeah.
details as
Yeah,
to
no,
what went
that's-
into that, but if you want to just pull that one out, make notes, we can figure out what the reasoning was behind that.
I mean, I
and
know
then
the
next
history, but I'm
week-
afraid to say it and it's a personnel issue and we're in a public meeting, so.
Well, if it's something that's previously been decided, that's probably pretty important to consider as to whether or
Okay.
not you want to do for a year appointment. So I would recommend you defer that and address that.
You come out and do it
Hopefully
next-
you'll have a
next
full
meeting.
quorum and you'll be able to address it more thoroughly.
Steve, would you be okay with that if we just pulled that one and did that at our January meeting after a little bit more research?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay,
So you don't
all right.
sign her.
Can we did you have any other questions or comments on any of the other appointments?
We actually have a couple more, but they're more than 1 year, so I wanted to do those separately.
Okay, so if we can do those are all 1-year appointments, so, if you want me to read them back to you, I don't know, or were you able to hear Julie Marie okay?
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
Do you want me to
sorry.
read them back to you? Okay,
I'm gonna take, here's the start, I'm gonna take this one out. Here
okay.
you go. Here's this one, Julie, read that they're taking out until
Thank
next.
you.
Okay, we've got Mike Brown as the IT director. Trey Likes as the Veteran Service Officer. John August as the EMA Director and Advisory Board Member. Dan Hackman, Weights and Measures. Rick Burkhalter, Grounds and Facilities Manager. Rex King, Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals Member. Max Beer, Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. Kelly Morningstar as an alternate as Wabash Heritage River Corridor Member. Randy Lehman as Wabash Heritage River Corridor Member. John Peekins as Alcoholic Beverage Board Member. John August, District 3 Advisory Board Member. Bill Grimm, District 3 Advisory Board Member. Stan Stoppenhagen as Council on Aging Board Member. Rex Moore, Title IV Coordinator for, let's see, Jackie Searles, Adams County Drainage Board Secretary. Brad Yoder, Highway Superintendent. Paul Zerby, Adams County Assistant Highway Superintendent. Mark Burry, Adams County Drainage Board Attorney. Mark Wynn, Building Inspector and Plan Commission Director. Mike Whirling, County Plat Book Technician. Mark Blankenship, Golden Meadows Home Administrator. So those are all that we have, so, those are 1-year terms, so if we want to, we can do those on a single motion unless you've got any questions or comments on any of them.
No, I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion carries.
Bring it to your attention, I'm sorry, I didn't read this. All the rest of those are for specific 1-year terms. The one for the Soil and Water Director indicates it's a term commencing January 1st, 2022, and continuing at the pleasure of the board for
No, okay.
So it really does give flexibility to terminate it at any time, not just 6 months, it could be 3 months, it could be 9 months. So with that explanation, if you would like to reconsider doing it now, or if you'd like to make sure you only have 6-month term, that's up to you.
All right, did you hear that the appointment to Soil and Water Conservation District does give leeway to the board to serve at the pleasure of the board? So I guess with that language, I would certainly be okay with that appointment, the way it's written.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we'll do that one separately, yeah.
Yeah, make a motion.
Okay, motion carries. All right.
I also have a number of 4-year appointments beginning January 1st, and those would be Bob Reef as Plan Commission Board Member, Doug Hartman as Plan Commission Board Member, Brett Lehman as Burn Plan Commission Board Member, Dr. Mark Bresla as Health Board Member, Dr. Emil Myers as Health Board Member, Cheryl Heisner as Adams Public Library Board Member, Scott Boniface as Parks and Recreation Board Member, and Blair Brown as Director of the Adams County Hospital Association. Those would be all 4-year terms beginning January 1st, 22.
Okay. I'm gonna read those back to you, or were you able to hear it all?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay, you're okay with all of those?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion carries.
I have a couple more here that say no one has been appointed, so you probably want to wait until you have everyone here so you can discuss it. But the ones in which there's been no appointment that need to be appointed, Director, Adams County Hospital Association, another member board, ADA Compliance Officer, and Adams County Highway Engineer. Those are all open, and there's no indication as to who you've decided on as an appointee for those positions. So, food for thought for your next meeting, I'm guessing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Did you hear that we had 3 open appointments that we will not be able to act on today?
Okay.
So we'll wait with those for the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. Very
We're
good.
here back on Mark at all?
Well, while you're waiting, if I can give you an update, the OSHA regulation that requires either all employees in any organization with over 100 employees, that was struck down, or at least it was put on hold by the Fifth Circuit Court. Subsequently, the Sixth Circuit Court decided, no, it should go forward. OSHA has now issued a mandate that you'll need to put in place a policy for that testing and for that either testing or vaccination as a mandatory thing. That has to be a policy in place by the commissioners by January 10th. So we're working on that policy. However, the appeal to have it overturned entirely and nullified is sitting before the Supreme Court of the United States and is set to be heard January 7th. So I'll have a motion, an ordinance for you to implement whatever plan is necessary, but it'll have language in there indicating that it's a springing clause. It would be contingent only upon their having passed that particular or the Supreme Court having upheld the constitutionality of that. So that's going to have to be done and passed next week in order to be ready for the appropriate January 10th deadline. If it's not needed after the hearing, great, but at least we'll have it so we can be in compliance with the OSHA regulation.
Well, if you want to prepare that policy, but speaking on my behalf, it is certainly a policy that I am definitely not in favor of and not a constitutional policy. So we can certainly hope for the Supreme Court to rule
Yes, and I will
in a
keep you apprised
constitutional way.
as to what the Supreme Court rules, but just this way, we won't have to be scrambling at the last
Sure.
minute to remain in compliance. So we're working on that.
Sure. Steve, did you have any comment on that?
No, can you tell me what, Julie Marie just said?
Well, what she said was that the ruling that struck down the OSHA mandate was now overturned, correct? That was overturned.
It was stayed. The correct term is it was stayed, implementation was stayed. But then the Sixth Circuit
limbo.
Court said, no, we're not going to stay it, we're going to uphold it. So now it's in front of the Supreme Court.
Okay, so now it's gone before the Supreme Court. And so we are required to have a policy in place by January 10th to implement this ruling. But it is scheduled to go before the Supreme Court January 7th. So it would be prudent for Julie Marie to have a policy prepared, but
Contingent upon that.
if the Supreme Court rules in a correct constitutional way, then we will not have to implement that policy.
And that wasn't a matter of opinion, wasn't it, Stan?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're saying you can't state that as fact, that's your opinion, just to protect you
Well-
from the media and everything.
So, any thoughts on that as an attorney?
As an attorney, no. As a free citizen of the United States, I have very strong opinions
There
about
you
it.
go. Yeah. Thank you for speaking up. All right. So does that make sense as far as the timeline?
Yeah, I'm not for it, but we have to do what we gotta do.
I mean, it'll never matter if the Supreme Court knocks it down anyway, I would think.
Right.
If they don't, you have to have it by law, so it just protects you.
What do you
Okay.
think, Stan?
Well, I think, like I said, it's prudent at this time for Julie Marie and Mark, or I don't know if you're working together on this policy, to have it ready, but hopefully we will hear positive results from the Supreme Court on January 7th. So I don't know how quickly they reach a decision.
It's considered an emergency motion, so they usually rule on it within 24 hours when it's that kind of a motion. So fingers crossed, we ought to know
And that
about
was
it.
just a heads up, there's
So
no
we
motion
should-
needed today.
Yes.
If
No,
they
there's
hear
nothing
oral
needed
arguments
today.
on January 7th, Julie Marie said we should hear a decision back from them fairly quickly. So hopefully before January 10th. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So, okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate your work on that and your help on that. So, okay. Anything else for us?
I have nothing else, thank you.
Okay. Hey, I do want to say thanks for sitting in for Mark today, and we appreciate your help and being able to work with us today.
Thank you,
So,
my pleasure.
Jim. Okay. Mark Wynn. Okay, now one of the
Figure out how
things,
to do this.
Steve, are you comfortable if Mark verbally describes the subdivisions he's presenting? Or do you want to wait until you can see them?
No, I trust Mark, so people probably don't want to wait. They probably want this to move forward, so.
So if Mark can discuss it verbally and Stan is okay with what he sees, then
Okay.
we'll go from there.
All right, well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the phone right here by Mark, and I'm gonna look at him, and he's gonna describe what we've got.
All right. We have got a subdivision that was made because it was the only way to divide this property up. They took buildings out of the large 40-acre lot, so it is actually just a 2-lot subdivision. Lot 1 and Lot 2. And so you end up with a little over 37 acres and a little over 2 acres. A little over 2 acres is where there are some buildings located. And then the 37 is farm ground. And it's just being separated. So we've got the 2-acre.
Was I this
Minimum.
cumbersome when I was in?
The ground is riding along 700 north, so there's no access issue. And that's all there is to this.
Okay. Any questions on that, Steve?
No.
Okay. Okay, motion carries.
This would be the day for 5, I mean, what?
Yeah, it would be.
Stan had to make a quick run. He'll be right back, Steve.
Mike Brown,
I'm gonna start talking without Stan, just so you know.
Information Technology Director.
Are these all 1 year?
These are all 1 year. Trey Lights, TREY.
So the next one we have is on 500 east and a corner of 400 south. And there was a single parcel that is now a 3-lot minor subdivision. One of them is 2.5 acres and that surrounds some buildings that have been broken out. A second lot is 2.2 acres that is empty at this point and could be built on if they get a good soil test. And then there's a remainder, which is 52 acres. And that's it. It's a 3-lot subdivision that was, I guess I don't know what the original was, but it was pushing, between my math there, about 56 acres to begin with. Is now a 52 and a 2.5 and a 2.2.
Okay, look good, Stan?
Stan?
He's
is
just
coming
getting back.
Oh,
No, you're good. We have,
Sorry about that, I had to step out for a little bit.
we're good. We do have our setbacks from the one lot that has buildings, the 20-foot minimum. And it's all on road frontage.
Rex King.
Okay, it looks good to me, so,
King.
okay, motion carries for Sharp's first subdivision.
Of Appeals,
Property taxes, what?
Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. He's just a
And
member.
there's a bunch of people trying to get some things wrapped up by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then poor Paul being not so well, I was dropping stuff off at his porch so he could take a look at them. And then picking them up later.
Tax Assessment Board of Appeals.
All right, so we have County Road 700 North, a 3-lot subdivision. And it's on 700 North and 224, stretches the entire way, which is a half mile. So it all has road frontage. It's either 224 or 700. We've broken out,
Heritage
um,
River Corridor.
I just lied to you, I said 3-lot subdivision. It's 2. Keep forgetting that's not part of it. So this little piece down here was an existing piece that was already there, has nothing to do with it. And then they just broke it up into these 2 pieces here. So it's a lot 1, which is 47 acres, and a lot 2, which is 20 acres.
And he's Wabash Heritage River.
Okay, everything looks good on that one.
okay, so moved.
Okay, motion carries.
Wabash Heritage River. John P. Kent's. John P. Ball.
You still hanging in there all right, Steve?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Beverage
Okay.
Board member, John P. Kent's.
Okay, this is
Board
a
member.
2-lot subdivision. Started off with, I can't remember the exact coloring.
We have John August again.
11 acres.
Alcoholic beverage, what?
So we have a 2-lot subdivision.
Board member.
Actually, I'm not sure, let's see, 29. So about 34 acres to begin with. And they've broken out, again, there's some buildings and a farm that they have surrounded with new lot lines. And so now that is a 4-acre parcel with the buildings, and then the remaining parcel is lot number 2, which is 29.75. And it all has road frontage. It's on a corner.
He is District 3 Advisory.
That's all there is to that one.
Okay, it looks pretty straightforward.
Okay, so moved.
Stands.
Second.
He is on Council on Aging Board member.
One more.
Next one is the Title T-I-T-L-E, capital V, Roman numeral V-I.
Okay, so we are on County Road 300 North,
Title 6.
and
Roman numeral
there
C,
is a
coordinator.
single lot,
Title 6.
and again, what is that?
Jacqueline Searles, S-E-A-R-L-E-S. Jacqueline, J-A-C-Q-U-E-L-Y-N.
This one looks like it straddles the railroad just east of 27.
It's 27 and 300 North.
L-E-S. She is Adams County
And they've
Drainage
taken-
Board Secretary.
Are these all still 1 year?
These are all 1 years. I'm gonna give you the 4 years here in a second.
So it looks like the one lot takes in
Crosses the railroad.
crosses the railroad and takes in the majority of the railroad in that property.
So this little piece right here, which already existed,
Okay.
and then they went off of that line and went straight north. So I don't know why that point, but they went there, so this wood stays with this lot. So it becomes a 2-lot subdivision.
Yeah.
So it's one piece, there's a railroad in the middle of it, but they have the rights to the railroad. So the property lines cross it, and this 41 and 37 is, so lot 1 is 41, lot 2 is 37.
Building inspector.
So how does that affect it? Like here, as you've got it shown on the colored picture, it separates the railroad out of there. Does that go to that property owner, or is that still railroad?
There's some easements there, but it's actually, the owner has picked up that property.
He is
Okay.
county plat book
So-
technician.
So this is his property with easement, with legal easement?
Yes.
W-E-R-L-I-N-G.
Yep, which means they have to stay away from them if they ever build a building, but it's still their property.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep.
All right.
And that's,
So with that easement,
That's what I do- he
I
does.
assume it's a railroad easement, not a utility easement.
well,
And
it's
last
a little
one
bit of
is
both now.
Oh, really?
Blankenship.
Okay.
They've got a city of Decatur easement using that, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what could be in there or is in there. But it started out as a railroad, and then some of those have been picked up and used for
For their water?
waters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are
All right.
in one.
Other than that, it's a
Got a couple
little bit
of
different with
4
that utility easement, but other than that, the way they've got it divided out seems appropriate.
Bob Reef,
Okay, so moved.
Bob,
Okay, motion
Reef.
carries.
our,
R-E-E-F.
Uh,
And
have
he's
you,
Plan
you want me to
Commission
sign?
Board. He's a member of Plan Commission Board.
okay,
And Jack Hartman, H-A-R-T-M-A-N, Southern Plan Commission
And
Board.
you can sign Steve's name and put via remote out
Hartman,
next to
Southern
it.
Plan Commission Board member.
Okay. What do we have next? Should we move on with the meeting for Steve's sake while I sign these, or?
B-R-E-N-T.
I don't know that we have anything next that I'm aware of unless it's other matters.
Louise Byrne,
Or after the
Plan
meeting, or
Commission
after
Board.
office hours.
Brent, B-R-E-N-T.
What do I put
B-R-E-N-T,
behind Steve's
Employment.
name if I?
And he's
Via
Byrne, Plan
remote.
Commission Board member.
Or virtual, or whichever.
everyone put SS,
And
presidential
then
report.
Dr. Mark Ressler
Because he's doing it
as a
that
health
way.
board
That's what we
member.
did with Rex when he wasn't here that last time and did it remotely.
GRESLA.
Should I just put SS remote? Or
That's fine.
Make sure you get the doctor in there. They're very particular about that.
Oh, yeah.
GR,
Like a
what's that
battleship.
now?
I said, make sure you get doctor in there.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very particular
Better
about
than
that.
Poncho.
He is what now?
He is going to be health board member.
Okay, yes, I understand that.
And then we have
Oh,
Dr.
there we
Neil Myers, who is EMIL. And the Meyer is the MEYER.
Let me see.
And he's another health board member.
Okay, where's his name?
Dr. Emil Meyer,
EMIL.
EMILE, and the Meyer is MEYER. So a health board member. There was Cheryl Eisner, CHERYL.
CHERYL.
Yes, Eisner. HISNER. She will be a public library board member. And we have Scott Boniface, BONIFAS.
Spell the last name again.
BONI,
Okay.
and he's Parks and Recreation Board.
I will say that I really appreciate all flexibility to look these over from home.
We have
Yeah,
we were just-
Brown.
Hope he's doing okay.
He's in the office.
Okay.
I just saw him in the hall on the way down here, so.
That's good.
And he'll be the
Yeah, we would
director
text
of
and-
the Adams
Yeah.
And I would just go to his door and put it on the front porch, ring the doorbell, get in my car and leave. And
Do what you gotta
he'd
do.
call me later and say, it's on the porch. I'd go back later.
Association.
But it sounds like everybody got through it okay, that household.
That is everybody.
Did you,
Thank you, that's all I got.
get
All right,
the
thanks, Mark.
authority, did
So,
you appoint
keeping
these
track
or
of our new animal
how
shelter
are
down there.
these appointed?
Yes.
I stopped down there yesterday a little bit.
And
Who's
this
they?
is just, the commissioners
Okay,
decide
good.
who they would
Okay.
like to
Yeah.
appoint.
So
and
what,
we
till they
just
call
draft
for
up the
framing, are they gonna have
paperwork to
any?
vote on it
So this
and
is,
sign.
these are commissioner
A
appointed.
lot of times they'll go ahead and get the
Yes.
exterior
I
put
just
on, because I
prepared
can see the
the
framing from the
paperwork.
inside.
Okay.
And then I'll do the inside, but just depends on the crew.
And is it necessary that we need to know what you were explaining to them afterwards?
What I was
Just right
explaining
beside it.
afterwards,
Right beside it.
Good.
sure,
Cause I know that's where they wanted to put it, so.
the
Yeah, it was,
OSHA
in fact, we tweaked it a little bit.
occupation
I'm like, well, you
safety,
gotta go this way another 5 feet, or that way, you know. It was
occupation
right there,
safety
just
health
outside the FEMA
association.
floodplain.
Yes.
Alright,
They
Good.
have come out with a
All right,
new
thanks, Mark.
mandate that they would like to impose on all, thank you, all organizations that have employees over 100.
They do want now.
They
These
want to
will need
impose
your
a new national
signature on
mandate
yours,
saying
and then if
that
you wanna
any
put
employer
the thing-
that has 100
Same thing you did
employees
for Steve on the other one, via remote or whatever you put on the other one.
Okay.
make sure
On
that
that.
All right.
their employees are.
so I'm gonna sign all the appointments then, Steve. Okay.
So long as they submit
Up to
to
what?
a
Other
COVID
matters,
test
probably
once a
there isn't.
week. And
All
come
right.
back positive.
Yeah, Julie Marie, you had everything that.
That was everything.
Okay, that was everything that you had. So, okay, other matters presented. Did you wanna come up or you wanna wait until afterwards?
Submit to-
Why don't you talk after office hours, because Steve is not feeling well, and we wanna be able to get him off the phone if we can, he's gotta get to the doctor,
All right,
if that works.
So.
all right.
it's being challenged with
Steve, how do you wanna do that? If we're, I think we've got everything taken care of, we're ready to adjourn. Did you wanna stay on for commissioner hours or are you?
I'll let you handle it.
Let's
All
make
right.
him adjourn, then
So,
I'll let you move it.
I would go, anesthetize yourself and get some rest.
I don't forget.
Thanks, well, you gotta do the adjournment first.
Okay, we take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Okay, meeting's adjourned.
I'm gonna go in there.